To the old me, scared and unseen, you're the reason I built this dream. Now I speak so others thrive. Turn my scars into sound. I come alive from the ashes and the breakdown. I don't run, I rise, won't back down. This is the voice I found. For those who lost their voice, I sing it loud. I keep it real, keep it purpose bound. Every word a step, every truth profound. We don't heal in silence, we fight with grace, softness and defiance, lighting up this place. It's a call to every soul who wants to be free. A song for
At Walgreens, we know flu season can feel a little chaotic. So we're going to give you our flu info
in a meditation, keeping you calm, just like a certified Walgreens pharmacist will do if you're a little nervous. So walk in or schedule an appointment, and Walgreens will handle the rest.
That's the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Big game today and no way to watch it? Sling lets you do that with Day Pass. Get instant access to live college football starting at just $4.99. One Day Pass gives you 24 hours of nonstop action on ESPN and ESPN2. Want SEC or ACC Network too? Just add Sports Extra for $1. No contracts, no hassle, just pure unfiltered game day. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
At Capella University, learning online doesn't mean learning alone. You'll get support from people who care about your success, like your enrollment specialist who gets to know you and the goals you'd like to achieve. You'll also get a designated academic coach who's with you throughout your entire program. Plus, career coaches are available to help you navigate your professional goals. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
What if home isn't your safe space and no one talks about it? In this bold episode of Keeping It Real on Purpose, I am going to be sitting with you with this beautiful person who's a TEDx speaker, real estate expert, and domestic safety advocate, Sabrina Osso.
Osso.
Yes. All right. From surviving abuse to using dance and the property law to fight it, Sabrina's mission is clear. Safety must be non-negotiable. Together, we're going to peel back the curtain on the silent trauma behind closed doors and how Sabrina makes everything safe. And she's going to be changing homes, schools, and workplaces from the inside out. Welcome to Keeping It Real on Purpose.
Thank you, Edna.
You're welcome. So tell us about you, about Osso Safe.
Yes, you gave me such a great introduction. But just to add to that, I'm founder and CEO of Osso Safe, Feel Safe, where you live, learn, work, and play. We combine education and technology to make respect a required standard in all types of homes, workplaces, and schools, but mainly in the home. Because I thought long and hard about this, about how I wanted my business, the vision of it, and everything starts in the home. If we make home safe, then everything else will fall into place.
Right.
Schools, universities, public places, workplaces will be safe.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's cool. So let's keep it real. How does a beautiful house become a silent prison? And why does no one in real estate want to talk about it?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Abuse, violence, chaos, dysfunction. Yeah, no one wants to talk about it. However, 1 out of 3 women will be beaten or raped in a lifetime. 1 out of 5 adolescent girls is abused by her boyfriend. 1 out of 3 young people will be in an abusive relationship. 1 out of 7 men is abused. By the end of today, 4 women will be killed by their abusive partners, and most of them will be killed after they leave their abusers.
Wow.
15 million children witness violence in their own homes each and every year. That's just in the US alone, just the ones that we know about. 5 children a day are killed by their abusive parents, usually under the
Mm,
watch of a child protective service agency and the courts, judges. So, all everything that I just stated, it happens in the home. It starts in the home. So it is, we need to make it our business, our priority to make homes safe, making respect the required standard in all homes where it is practiced, where there is positivity, empowerment, encouragement, freedom, choice, respect,
right.
safety. That's what makes a safe home, all of those components.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, they always say that love starts in the home. That's what it should be. But also a lot of that trauma, as we both can, have experienced. And it's so funny because you have a background like I do in real estate, and we've seen it all. We've seen the gamut of it all. And I love that you gave those statistics today because people don't think about it, at all. And we don't talk about it from that point, that perspective.
Right, right. Yes, I'm glad you echo that. And this needs to be a required standard.
Hmm.
And we are marketing the Osso Safe certification for properties.
Right.
That is for all properties, for property owners, property managers, landlords, tenants, whether you rent, whether you own, whether you have a mortgage or not. It's our core product, the Osso
Gotcha.
Safe certification for properties.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. You say we need to treat safety like a non-negotiable, not an afterthought. What does that mean in real terms for families, landlords, or employers?
Yes. What makes a home safe in our mind at Osso Safe? What makes it safe? I mean, I have the title right in my name and in
Hmm.
my business, right? Osso
Right.
Safe. So what makes it safe? And I thought long and hard about this, and I should know. I am a survivor of violence. My father beat my mother on a regular basis. My mother would beat me. So I said to myself, what did I need growing up? What would have really made a difference?
Mm,
And that is respect.
yes.
Respect is practiced on a day-to-day basis where there is no verbal, physical, sexual abuse,
Hmm.
and there's no violence, abuse, chaos, dysfunction. So that is the key ingredient. And this is something, we think that people know once you're born, you hand off that baby to the parents or step parents, mom, dad, or maybe you're a single parent, and
Hmm.
we kind of take it for granted. Okay, this is how you burp it. This is how you change the diaper. This is how, in case there's choking, this is what you do. This is what you do to feed it. But we need to talk about, don't beat it up. Don't verbally
Right.
disparage it. Don't call it, you're a piece of garbage and you don't know anything and you're stupid. And no, 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 no. So all of this has to be practiced and people need to be educated, especially if you come from violence. So this is what we do at Osso Safe with our certifications.
Hmm.
And it's the Home Sweet Home package. It consists of a policy, a seminar, an app, and therapists assigned to the property. So we could talk about that later in the interview, but uh, I hope I answer the question.
Yeah,
Sometimes
you
I
did.
go off on a tangent.
Yes. That's okay. That's all right. You use dance as part of your teachings, which I do too. I love dancing. I do freestyle, but you do more formal, and that's not typical. How does movement expose what words can hide?
Excellent question. I'm so glad you brought that up. Home violence is a taboo subject,
Mm-hmm.
as we have been alluding to so far. So when you bring a performance aspect, especially dance, children, students, and even adults for that matter, they could digest the information much more
Gotcha.
easier. So if you're seeing a performance like I bring about, years ago, I wrote, choreographed, and performed a one-woman show called Home Sweet Home question mark. I play different
Mm,
women being abused. She goes to her good place. That's where the dancing comes in, but then she's pulled back into the terror of violence. The show ends really strong, really empowering. And
okay.
whenever I do snippets of the show for Osso Safe at schools, universities, and even in real estate, I have to say, people are like, wow, thank you so much. I don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm crazy. I
Right.
feel like you were really speaking to me. You played my mother, or you played my father, or you actually played me as a child. And thank you for echoing that. I feel like you really understand my pain.
Yeah.
So it's more an understanding between audience and the performer, if you will. So
Mm-hmm.
dance is a big ingredient in what we do.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that you add that piece into it. You're pushing for legal contractual changes in real estate, which I love. What resistances are you getting? And what do you say to people who think abuse isn't the property owner's problem?
Yes, excellent question. Um, it is it is all of our responsibility. Like when you put that key in your lock, you should feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's home and not
Yeah.
hell. You should feel like it's your sanctuary and not your war zone. So I want for people to think differently about their home life, and we treat this as a nonprofit, but and we respect all of the nonprofits that deal with domestic violence, home violence,
Mm-hmm.
but so long as it stays a nonprofit, where you're holding out a bucket, and for money to be thrown into that bucket, it'll never change. So we are
Mm.
putting it to the fire. What's the phrase, where things will get resolved if you put a price tag on it. And we're saying to landlords, property owners, property managers, the resistance that we get the most is, oh no, we're safe here, everything is fine in my building. But
Right.
we know that, based on the statistics that I just stated,
Right.
it's not about we're faulting you. It's about being proactive, being preventative. If and when
Mm-hmm.
violence occurs,
Mm-hmm.
you are preventing it. And by default, landlords, property owners, property managers, you're involved. So you might
Right.
as well nip it in the bud right at the beginning of the lease, of the mortgage contract, to say, look,
Mm-hmm.
let's just get everybody educated. Let's
Right.
make it pact in the policy. I promise to not be abusive. I promise to
Mm-hmm.
practice respect. It's a much
Right.
better
Okay.
approach versus waiting for an episode of violence to occur. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. I know that here in New York, a lot of the federal government programs like Section 8, how some of the housing organizations as well have added to an addendum to the lease if you have experienced domestic violence. And I don't know if you've seen this in your area. And they've added, if you encounter a situation with domestic violence, have to be moved out. Can something like that be preventative, or is that something that's in the pipeline to what you're talking about?
At Capella University, learning online doesn't mean learning alone. You'll get support from people who care about your success, like your enrollment specialist who gets to know you and the goals you'd like to achieve. You'll also get a designated academic coach who's with you throughout your entire program. Plus, career coaches are available to help you navigate your professional goals. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
What you just stated, and I have seen like a bit of that. In fact, I visited Zymir Perkins. He's a 6-year-old that was murdered by his parents. I forgot which one or if it was both, but I went to Harlem and
Right.
I spoke with the property manager there, and he had told me that we do have some provisions of for abuse awareness. It was more
Right,
about
right,
abuse
right.
awareness, you know. So we are taking it much further, and
Gotcha.
we are saying in our contracts, why should you leave? You're the victim. The
Right,
child is an automatic victim. So
right,
if you're the non-abusive parent, why should you leave?
right,
In an Osso Safe certified property, it's the abuser that has to go, not the victim. Why
right,
should you leave, pick up the kids, run around like a refugee when you can flip the script, and that's what we're
right,
doing.
exactly.
It's the abuser that needs to go. That way, the rest of all of your other units, they feel safe. No one else
Mm-hmm.
has to be alarmed. And the abuser is the one that has to pay the consequences, not the victim. So I
Yeah.
hope I answer the question.
Yeah, you did. The what you're saying is so very important. That is an awareness, and a lot of people, and you know this in real estate that they don't even sometimes they don't even read the contract. They don't even read their
It's just
leases, less more the contract, and then these things don't come out. And I know being an advocate in the community, and I do experience a lot of people talking about or reporting domestic violence. They'll say to me, "What do I do? He's in the house, and I'm here over here, and I don't know what to do." So I'm saying to them, did you read that packet that was inside your paperwork? She goes, "No." They go, "No," and it's always that they're like, "What? There's a provision for that." You're making it so that there's more awareness. What else are you doing that maybe you can share with the audience that you're bringing to the table with this legislation, with these legal changes?
yes. We do not release the keys to the tenant or would-be tenant
Okay.
unless they sign the policy and they
Gotcha.
go through the seminar, which is the Osso Safe Home Sweet Home seminar. It's an hour. Both adults and children alike get
Hmm.
educated on facts, statistics, warning signs, definitions of abuse, the difference between abuse and discipline,
Yeah.
what constitutes a good relationship,
Hmm.
what are the warning signs of a bad relationship.
Yeah.
So that way
That's
there's
good.
no surprises. And we want to say that children are at the core of what we
That's
do.
good.
We are giving them voice and choice in our seminars and in
That's
our
really good.
certifications. Our children's book is also a staple of the Osso Safe certification. So it
Okay.
kind of lays the groundwork where
Mm,
what is respect?
right.
What is abuse? What is the difference between respect and disrespect,
Right.
abuse and non abuse? So to even further answer your question, we make it a condition of
Right.
living in an Osso Safe certified property.
Right.
And if you're already in the building, we are
Hmm.
suggesting to landlords, would you consider an exchange of consideration? That's what
Hmm.
legally it's called. In other words, let's say, okay, we're going to get this property Osso Safe certified, but you're already in the building and you have another 6 months left in your lease. Will you consider an exchange of consideration where you take $25 less in rent for those people that have to still go through their lease and say, okay, if you become Osso Safe certified, then we're going to reduce your rent by $25 for the remainder of the
Oh,
lease.
that's good.
Once
That's really good.
once the lease is done, then you have to become Osso Safe certified. Otherwise, it's a condition you can't live here
Right.
because this is going to benefit everybody where we are safe, we are respectful. You're not
Right.
going to have to worry about any beatings and even if and when that happens, we have the mechanisms and systems in place to
Hmm.
diminish that and
Right.
prevent it.
Yeah. I think that's a great piece to kind of add because I remember when I first was on Section 8 and called family self-sufficiency when my kids were younger, and I had just started real estate. No, 2 years before I just started real estate. And I remember that we used to go to classes and kind of have these things, We said you had to hear these things, you had to hear. They don't do that any longer. And I'm telling you, the level of domestic violence has skyrocketed since I had Section 8. It skyrocketed, and there's no oversight. There's no oversight and no responsibility on the federal program level. Like, so if I have a situation when there's domestic violence, I call you, hey, my partner that just violated me is living at my house and he's not on the lease. What do I do? Where do I go? There's no help for you. No one's trained in that federal government to kind of help you to move
Right.
forward.
Right. And we're saying let's make this a condition. That's why
Mm,
we frame it as let's make respect a required
right.
standard in all homes. And we realize there's like this is another pushback that we get. Sabrina, who's going to live in one of your properties? Certainly not an abuser, and an abuser is not going to want to. Exactly. So
Hmm.
and we know that they could lie, they could say
Yeah.
yeah, I'm safe, but we know that abusers can only keep their poker face on for so
Yes, for so
long.
long.
Sooner than later their abusive true colors will come out.
That's right.
Well, you signed this, you
Yeah.
signed the policy, you
Yeah.
went through the seminar, and we have therapists assigned to the property, so
Right.
you just beat her up or she just beat him up.
Right.
This is grounds for eviction. You knew that this was going to happen. It's not a surprise. It's not like, oh, you didn't tell me. No, we did tell you right from the beginning.
Mhm.
So you need to go. We need to keep everybody else safe. So that way it's very transparent. There's no
Sure.
surprise. So this is
Absolutely.
how we framed it. This is how I created it,
Mhm.
if you will, the products and
Right.
services
Right.
that we're offering.
Right. Do you think your service would be so good for, like, say, a shelter? Because I know here on Long Island, people always, shelter programs are popping up, and maybe women's shelters or women's, areas. And what I don't like about this is that, a lot of the organizations, they're always moving the families around. And I get so concerned about the children because they're like collateral damage in this entire thing. And there's no education around what it looks like for them, for the children. And I like your program because it makes the entire family sit down and all of us know. Because I'm going to tell you, you know how I know about a CPS? School told me. My family never told me. They told me about what it is, what it isn't, all these things. And I came home one day and I told my mom something. She told me, well, I said, well, you can't hit me because school told me CPS said that, 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 that. I knew it, right? And it's none of that education anymore. It's not none of that. It's become the norm. Oh, if you get smacked upside the head, oh, it won't happen again. Or that's what just happens, and they kind of get used to it. You know, I like the way
Yeah.
your program is. Do you think that a shelter, like a homeless shelter, and it might even happen there too as well, but maybe a homeless shelter or what's the other ones?
Senior
When they when
community.
they when they
Oh,
they're rehab, the houses where they have the rehabbing, you go there once you hit the halfway houses. Do you think that's a great place for your type of education?
absolutely, absolutely, because it's just another residence, it's another
Sure,
home.
absolutely.
So it's and
Good.
the rules are the same, whether you live, and you know this because you're in real estate, whether you live in a townhouse, a co-op, a condo, a
Yeah,
single family home, a multifamily
right.
dwelling, a two-family home, a villa, a mansion, a
Hmm.
mobile home, a senior community, a
Hmm.
dormitory, a homeless shelter, the rules are the same.
Right, right, right,
Respect needs to be there, respect
right.
needs to be practiced, and it has to be established. And how beneficial this would be for whatever your home life is, your home
Mm,
situation, to have this education, to have a policy where everybody signs, and to have this like a live education, because it makes much more of an impact. versus just brushing it off. Okay, did you read it? Yes, yes, yes. Sign, sign,
That's
sign.
right. That's
No,
right.
you have to take the
That's
class,
right.
and it's 1 hour. And we've done this in a few properties, and it's working out very well.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up a lot of time. We're
Mhm.
getting positive feedback. The kids even feel heard and feel seen. Like, wow, like what if mom and dad are attacking me? What do I do? I
Right.
really feel like I have voice and choice. So,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a across the board
Right.
education and certification.
Yeah. And I think it also would be so beneficial for those government, those not government, I don't know what they call it, the low income housing. So when you come in, you're literally, because they already go through your records anyway. Okay, you have to sit through a class. I think that would be such a great piece to it. And it also
Yes.
empowers, and I like the fact that it's teamwork. So if I don't have I'm not the gatekeeper to the information. All of us have the information, and now all of us, and it employs respect, on all ends, from the children to the parents. It calls for responsibility. Like, okay, my kids now know if this starts to happen, they have the information and they're stronger for that. And that's what I like about what you're presenting. Could you share with the audience now how they can get their hands on this, whomever's listening to it, where they can get this information from you?
Sure. Sure. Our website is ossosafe.com. We are on all the major social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. The two platforms that we dedicate just to children of all ages, teeny tiny through 18 years of age, it's our TikTok and YouTube. Our children's book is on Amazon.com as well as other book selling sites. But we are also communicating. I'm a real estate agent, so I communicate regularly with landlords, tenants, property owners, property managers, buyers, and sellers. So the website would be the best way to reach us, theososafe.com. And I want to say that whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship, this is going to benefit everyone, no matter what your relationship status is. And I want to say that we don't single anyone out. We don't go into the class. And this is done, mind you, right at the residence. So it's not like you have to go somewhere. It's done right where you live. So we come to you to make it easier. We don't say, okay, who here is an abuser? Who here is a victim? We don't approach it that way at all. No one would disclose that. It's a blanket education for everyone. The policy is a blanket policy for everybody. So that way everybody's included. I hope I answered the question.
You did. You did. Well, that's powerful stuff, Sabrina. Thank you for being real, raw, and radical in this space called real estate. Listeners, listen, if this conversation literally came home for you, got inside of you, grasped something that was really familiar, don't hesitate to share it. Take action. Visit ossosafe.com. Visit and learn how to create safety where you live, work, learn, and play. And if you keep this conversation alive like this, you need to keep coming to Keeping It Real on Purpose. Leave us a review. And if you want to send a message to our beautiful guest today, Sabrina, you can leave it right here and she will answer your question. So share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep it real on purpose. I'm your host, Edna White, and my esteemed guest, Sabrina Osso, saying goodbye for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
I'm Eden Cher.
And I'm Brock Charlelli.
We played best friends on The Middle.
And became best friends in real life.
We're here to rewatch The Middle with all of you.
Each week, we'll recap an episode with behind-the-scenes stories, guest interviews, and what we think now, many years later.
There's a lot to dive into, so let's get to middling.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Hey!